I'd like to convene our meeting for September 18th. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the roll.
Belzak.
Here.
Gustafson.
Here.
Kenny. Legansky.
Here.
Shower.
Here.
Stompanato.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. We have a quorum. That takes us to questions and comments and announcements of a general nature. Do anybody in the audience have anything they'd like to present to the City Council that's not on our agenda tonight? If not, we move on to approval of the minutes. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of our September 5th, 2023 meeting. Alderman Legansky, seconded by Alderman Belzak. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? If none, the roll.
Belzak.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Abstain.
Kenny. Legansky.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Stompanato.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
6 and 1 absent. 6
No.
ayes.
One
No,
abstention.
one's abstention.
One
Abstention. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Correction.
Takes us to receiving of communications. Do any of the aldermen have communications they'd like to share? Alderman Gustafson?
Yeah, I've got a few people, residents, asking about the status of the replacement light pole at Carlton and Manning. I had a conversation with Dan and responded back to the residents. But Dan, can you give a quick history of that one?
Unfortunately, it is a concrete pole first and foremost. The concrete poles have been very difficult to get at best. Aluminum poles have also been a challenge, again, all to the supply chain issues that have been ongoing since, really right after COVID. In conjunction with that, our contractor we've had some concerns with our current vendor, and we're currently utilizing another vendor at the same time, who's accepted the unit prices, but in reference to the light tomorrow, if the light is going up tomorrow, it will be an aluminum pole that is going up.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, Eric?
No.
Anyone else? I have one communication. Today, I received some very sad news. I don't know how many of you knew him. His name was Frank Panarella. Frank was 101 years old and was a veteran of World War II.
Oh, he was at
Frank
the ceremony.
showed up at all of our Memorial Day and Veterans Days celebrations. He sat on a bench over by the side.
Yeah.
And he was always anxious to share his exploits from World War II. He was in the Battle of the Bulge. He fought under General George Patton. Beautiful man, wonderful man to be with. The last month or so, his health deteriorated, and he passed away just the other day. He's having services this Friday at, it's called Palos Gaitis Funeral Home. It's on Southwest Highway in Palos Hills. Again, Frank was a real treasure for the city of Darien, and he was someone that I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with, just talking to him about history and his life. And it's really fun when you can sit down with somebody who's 101 who can tell you all about World War II. You know, you can read it in a book. You can read it in a book, but when you hear it from somebody who experienced it, so it will be a loss for all of us. But that's my communication. But no one else? Okay. Takes us to the mayor's report. The mayoral proclamation, National Suicide Prevention and Action Month. I have a proclamation I'd like to read. Whereas September is known globally as Suicide Prevention Month, the National Suicide Prevention and Action Month proclamation was created to raise the visibility of the mental health resources and suicide prevention services available in our community. The goal is to start the conversation about mental health and the impact of suicide to help destigmatize the conversation and help connect people with the appropriate support services. And whereas according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death among adults and the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34 in the United States. And whereas more than 48,000 people died by suicide across the United States in 2018, with an average of 132 suicides completed daily. And whereas each and every suicide directly impacts a minimum of 100 additional people, including family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, and community members. And whereas the city of Darien publicly places its full support behind those who work in the fields of mental health, education, and law enforcement, and whereas global organizations like Hope for the Day and our local mental health partner Life Stands Health serve on the front lines of a war that many still refuse to discuss, as stigma regarding suicide and mental health issues is far too prevalent. And now, therefore, I, Joseph A. Marquez, Mayor of the City of Darien, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 is National Suicide Prevention and Action Month in the City of Darien, and I encourage all residents to take the time to understand the importance of mental health education and recognize that taking care of ourselves and others includes taking care of mental health. Do I have someone here tonight for this, for the proclamation? I guess not. I also wanted to note that there are different agencies that will help you out. One is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Line. That's a national crisis line. The DuPage County Health Department has a crisis line that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's the mobile crisis response in DuPage County. That's available 24/7. And there's crisis residential, and then again, that's a 24/7, 12-bed unit that provides short-term crisis stabilization services for adults in DuPage County. And just to let everybody know, DuPage County is looking to add on to their facility in Wheaton and add another 25 beds to that. And mental health is a big issue here in DuPage County. We talk about it a lot in our mayor's groups. There just doesn't seem to be enough money for the type of services that we really feel that we need. But in National Suicide Prevention Action Month, let's hope we get people to think about it. They think about the warning signs. And I believe that the chief will have some additional information on suicide prevention when he has his talk tonight. So that moves us from there to the city clerk's report,
No city clerk report.
city administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item, if we could ask all residents that receive our Direct Connect or not, that they fill out the citizen survey. We started that last week in a special Direct Connect, and I'm not sure how many responses we have yet, but we'll use that at the city council goal setting for the city council to look and review. It's not scientific or statistically a valid type of survey, but it certainly gives the city council and staff a lot of information from the residents, so we hope everybody could fill that out. Thank you.
Takes us to department head information questions. A monthly report from Chief Thomas. Greg?
Thank you. Yes, you had mentioned suicide prevention and awareness. Page 3 of the monthly report does have some data and some reference materials regarding suicide prevention that may help supplement what the mayor had talked about. I'll ask now if anybody has any questions about the monthly report, and if not, I'll just jump into discussion. You can answer questions throughout. Awesome.
Any questions for Chief Thomas on the monthly report?
All right, couple of things. Coffee with a Cop is Wednesday, October 4th from 7 to 9. It's at the McDonald's on Plainfield Road. The whole idea behind Coffee with a Cop is to break down some of the barriers between police and the public. We've been doing that for a number of years, so come on out and have a conversation. It'd be great. In the annual report, we talked about more and more outreach. And one of those items was a monthly meeting within the library that has started. It started September 6th. We discussed what to expect when you call 911, residential safety tips, some prevention stuff regarding residential crimes and those type of things. It worked out pretty well. Those questions or statements were followed up by topics that the public wanted to talk about. There was not very many, There was very few people in the audience, about 4 members of the public that attended, so we hope to get that off the ground a little bit more. But the questions and comments, mostly, a lot of them were centered around the Pretrial Fairness Act, which started today. Meetings are the first Wednesday of the month, so coming October 4th, and then November 1st, the meetings are at 10 a.m. at the, oh boy, this is going to be tough, Keshav Singhani Meeting Room, which is on the 2nd floor of the Indian Prairie Library. The next meeting is going to be done by the detectives, and they'll be covering issues regarding fraud and scams. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is the whole issue with rumors and stuff that gets on social media. Last month was a very interesting month. I had received a number of communications from a number of these elected city officials, and they're just doing their job, and that's appreciated. Checking on incidents that occurred within the city where there's questions, comments, concerns from your constituents, so keep on doing that. That is absolutely no problem at all. In fact, appreciate that. But I'd like to explain a few things. One such call came from about a number of police cars and ambulance at a residence. Person that contacted the elected official was complaining that the police were not being transparent. Even though we posted on Twitter at the time, police and fire responded to Beller Road and Beller Court for a person in need of assistance. There's no threat to the public regarding the call, and the roadway is clear. Thank you for your patience. Now, the caller felt that she should have more information. You can appreciate the fact that there's not much information other than you're safe and going on about your business. The problem is, in some of these situations like this one, it's involved a medical emergency, and we're not going to discuss medical emergencies and what goes on in a person's private life for the most part. If there was such a threat, then we would probably put on some kind of soft lockdown, hard lockdown, evacuation, all these different types of things that we could put in place. So just food for thought. We try to get the information out to the public as soon as we can. However, we do have to deal with the priority at hand, the situation that's going on, and those. It's going to take a little bit of time sometimes in order to get to phone, computer, or whatever, in order to do those notifications. In another situation, an individual was asked to remain in her house. She was insistent on knowing what's going on. At the time the incident was evolving. That's not the time to engage with the police. An appropriate time, as soon as possible. Again, we'll release the information that's allowed. I can recall a time a long time ago in 1980s when I was a patrolman, responded to a call of an armed robbery. 2 subjects, one armed with a shotgun, actually a sawed-off shotgun, and the other with a handgun committed a theft. Actually committed a robbery, armed robbery. 2 officers in one car, we call that a 2-man car. They saw the car at about the same time I was going on a cross street and saw the car, so made a stop on the vehicle. It's called a felony stop. So we park farther back, we give commands instead of walking up to the car, we get the people out of the car. So while conducting this felony stop with us pointing guns at the offenders who also had guns, a woman approached the officer, probably as close as I am to Dan, and asked if we were filming a movie. It is not the time to engage with the police during those situations. So we asked, you comply, and you can complain later. You can comply, and we'll fill out the information later. Hopefully just comply with the police. In another situation last week, an elected official was asked about a fatal motorcycle accident on 75th near Home Depot. If true and elected officials were not notified, you'd be rightly upset. If that information came to me and I had to go and research that and find out about it, I would be upset. There was no fatal accident. There was an accident in Downers Grove on 75th, but not ours and not a fatal. We respond to about 20,000 calls for service a year. and I don't know all of them. They happened in a handful of them. The sergeant's pretty good at, the supervisor, very good at keeping us informed of what's going on. And they're pretty good about getting the information out on a tweet. And if not, you can obviously hold me accountable and make sure that we get that done. Another case, last week again, there's a persistent caller that tells the police had a situation behind one of the schools where the offenders or the police were armed. They were talking about guns, pretty persistent on the guns. There was no gun drawing. There was no guns discussed. There's video, body-worn cameras now. The rumor advanced beyond that to that the car was stolen. That too was not accurate. In reality, there was juveniles out on a joyride in the parents' car. They had permission to have the car. It wasn't stolen, or it was taken without owner's consent or permission. And we typically don't put that type of information out on the press board. So, in fact, most of the 20,000 calls do not receive any kind of press release. To me, there's no value in secrecy. An informed public is a safer public. An informed public is able to help the police. Being informed of burglaries, vehicle thefts, car burglaries, patterns, all those different types of things, especially frauds and scams that continually happen, hopefully instills in the public that, oh, I need to lock my stuff up. I need to not be scammed. And that's kind of difficult on depending on who they're targeting. But having that information out there is also helpful. I think April or whenever I gave those awards out, one of them was for WeatherTech. In that situation, that was called in by a person that was informed and saw the person and called the police, and we were able to make that arrest. So it is important to have that informed public, but it's not good to take that pieces of information and run with it and however they want to do those things. So go on Twitter. There's 2,400 people that are on there already listening to or seeing what we're doing. We post that information. You can get that information directly from the police and not through the rumor mill. A lot of those are retweeted, so more people are getting that information. So hopefully that helps out with getting that information out properly and quickly, and keep down those rumors about what's going on and what's not going on. So getting to the monthly report itself, things are still encouraging. There's some crimes that are up. You'll see assaults. Again, when they changed from uniform crime reports to the National Incident-Based Reporting System, the NIBRS, we start counting a lot more crimes and different types of crimes. So in the past, like domestic violence and other cases weren't counted, and now they are. And so that uptick, that going from 70 year-to-date last year to 77 year-to-date this year, has more to do with domestic violence issues. Where was the other one? There it is, theft. Theft also has a whole myriad of types of cases that are involved in theft. Theft from person, theft by possession, different types of ways to commit theft, retail theft, and the like. And so we went from 157 year-to-date last year to 81 this year. Most of those are a drop in retail theft. The other categories, I don't concern myself a whole lot with those because they can be manipulated. Tell officers don't go out and make drug arrests, and all of a sudden we don't have a drug crime because we're not reporting it because we're not proactive in it. So I don't like those types of things that you can do bad things and manipulate that data that change to a record. Back in theft, I tell you. Yes. Back on property crimes, it's fraud and We didn't count that before. Now we're posting that information. You can see that we had 106 year-to-date last year, 105 year-to-date this year. My point's not the change over time. The point being that we're going to talk October 4th at 10 o'clock at the library about fraud and how to protect yourself from those situations. So you may want to come out and hear what the detectives have to say about that information. Calls for service, they're slightly up, but not crazy. The vehicle crashes are about the same in the years past. 2015 through about 2019, they were much higher. Had a big drop in the COVID year, 2020, and then they've leveled off to about 200 a year, year to date. And so those are continue to be the same. So that's it about the report, and a little bit of a summary and discussion about suicide. It is an ugly topic, another situation. Also in the monthly report was discussion about every year, August-ish, we return to schools. So there's information about how to be safe in and around schools, especially around school buses, when to pass, when you can't pass, and just being smart around about buses and being smart around returning to school, making sure all the kids are safe. So, any other questions that might have been spurred at the time?
No, but one comment.
Sure.
Regards to suicides, I just read like last week that problem gambling is the highest rate of suicide of any addictions. And you know, with all this online gambling, that I'm fearful that that number could keep getting worse. So
Yeah, there's a lot of contributing factors, and I don't think we do a great job of managing that very well yet.
Just one area. Are residents getting any better on locking their vehicles?
No. About
What is it going to take to get folks to lock their cars and take their valuables out of their car? What is it, like 85% of the thefts?
it's almost 90%. Almost 90%.
90%.
Quite high. Yeah.
I just want to encourage people, please lock your cars and take your valuables out of your vehicle.
Brian?
Chief, I get a number of calls into the office. I have received a couple over the last, several weeks. One was somebody called because a solicitor approached their house and they thought there was something suspicious. Another one, there was a loose dog in the neighborhood. They felt it was dangerous. I am the last person you want to call. And, we say this as much as we say lock your doors. Please call the police. When you want a police service or something doesn't seem right, or there's a solicitor. So maybe just give one more commercial, Chief, on residents not bothering the police when they call for service.
Absolutely. We're going to be there regardless. So you're much better off dialing 911. A lot of times I'll get emails over the weekend, hey, a resident contacted me about this, and then the email or the alderman will email me, and then I don't have an alarm on my emails, but I do check them fairly frequently. So I'm going to find it, but I'm going to probably find it maybe an hour later. That situation is done. You are not bothering anybody by dialing 911, and there's a priority list. So if the barking dog it's out there, and an armed robbery is at the same time, we're not going to go to the barking dog. We're going to set those priorities. But at some point in time, that priority is going to be that barking dog, and we're going to go there and we'll handle it as it needs to be. So there's absolutely no problem in dialing 911. The bigger problem is not calling 911 when it's appropriate and having a situation than the other way around of calling 911 and we get there and it was just a plausible reason for what was going on. But make the call.
I think Mary had a question.
I did. So I know like other communities have this service. I think we've talked about it before, maybe in goal setting, or I know we obviously have Twitter, and there's also Direct Connect, but there's clearly a huge population in our community that does not use either. And if there was an emergency situation Is there any way for us to mass communicate to our residents via mobile phones, home phones, email? Is that something that we could, some type of emergency service system?
It depends on the situation. So if we have a situation that we need to notify a lot of people all at the same time, the DuPage County has a reverse 911 that we would be able to make those phone calls. It's very rarely used because we want to make sure that when we do use it, we're not crying wolf. And it's not for none of the situations that I've been here in nearly 8 years that we would ever use reverse 911 on. A lot of people talk about the notifications such as Nixle that we used to have. It costs a few $1,000s a year, and but you had to sign up for it, and you had to do all these different types of things. We had 388 people that used it and 2,400 people that used Twitter. And you can set your notifications on Twitter just like you set your notifications on anything else.
So, but the city itself wouldn't have, unless you're saying, I understand the reverse 911, but unless people provided the city with their mobile phones and we set up some type of system, like we have emails for Direct Connect, and obviously people subscribe to Twitter and like the City of Darien Police Department, there's no other way to mass communicate a situation that might not be quite warranted to do reverse 911, but no.
Not enough.
A lot of people don't have landlines anymore either. So reverse doesn't work.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I've been encouraging my neighbors already to, take the survey, give feedback, and all I'm hearing is right now is all about speeding. Is on 79th, Nantucket, Sawyer, Farmingdale, blowing stop signs. So it's clearly the biggest concern I'm hearing right now is all about people just speeding. So we'll see what we can do.
And you can look at the second to the last page, and you'll see all the speeding violations that are issued.
Right.
A lot. And then in the last page is those concerns. So when somebody has an issue or concern with speeding and they call, or an alderman hears about it and tells me about it, those go into a database that we have. And you'll see on that last page, these are the complaints, and you're absolutely right,
So
Alderman.
Chief, should I
that
just
most of
give you
those are
like
speeding.
an intersection or an address? I mean, to that level?
Either.
Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speeding in the city doesn't do anything. Speeding on the 1900 block of Manning between at rush hours or afternoon or something like that, then we can put somebody out there because it's targeted. Other than that, it's not targeted and next to impossible to do. Yeah, so that's important. And my colleague hinted me about traffic studies as well. And those are important. A lot of times you'll see on here how many observations we did, 700 minutes, and very few citations issued. It's very few things seen. Instead of sending a police officer up there for 28, 24, 45 observations, 37 observations, 27, 31, 23. You can either contact myself and I'll give it to Dan, or call Dan directly, and we'll do those traffic counts. They're a lot easier because last two I think I saw Dan provided me that somebody had called in. Very few speeding, that people are actually speeding. I think the last one, there was 2 people that were above 37 miles an hour, and but perception and reality, but it's your perception, and it's our job to see if that is reality, and then we'll take care of that situation. So absolutely, again, just call, we'll add it to the directed patrol, and we'll go out there and see what we can do to reverse that habit.
Anything else? Dan, I think you have an update for us.
It's real briefly, 79th Street and Clarendon Hills Road, the sidewalk project. The sod will begin tomorrow, so we'll hopefully have sod in both locations by the weekend. Unfortunately, I wish I could tell you we had power. We have power for the signals at 67th and Clarendon Hills Road, as well as the pedestrian signals at Hinsdale South High School, as well as the pedestrian signal fronting Community Park. Unfortunately, ComEd, again, there's no excuse for 67th and Clare Hills Road. That's been in the works for over 1 year with ComEd. As of today, it's my understanding now that they're going to be scheduling a power outage, and that needs to be adhered to because of the pole on the southwest corner is a significant power pole, and to put a new pole in, the primary lines are too close to the proposed pole. Again, this has been going on for almost a year, so no excuses for me at this point. You know, we're trying to do whatever we can. Unfortunately, it's out of our control. The pedestrian signals at Hinsdale South High School, those have been ready to be powered for the last 3 weeks. Latest I heard last week was 8 to 14 more days before ComEd sets the meter. The pedestrian signal fronting Community Park, there's currently a transformer, what they call a secondary transformer that's on there. ComEd does not allow 2 services coming off of that one service, for better lack of terminology here. So the transformer has to be set there. When will that transformer come in? Don't know yet. Still have not gotten the timeline. Again, these are all projects that have been out there for the last 2.5 months that have been permitted. So again, you know, we want to let the residents know we feel the frustration more so than you could imagine. And that's really most of the updates I have. If there's anything else I could entertain from the council, I'd be more than happy to.
Anything else for Dan? Okay. We move on to our treasurer's report. We have our warrant 23-2410. Treasurer Corrin.
Thank you, Mayor. Requesting council's approval of warrant number 23-2410 in the amount of $1,035,143.34 from the listed funds. Payroll for the period ended September 7th in the amount of $295,720.68 for a total to be approved of $1,330,864.02.
We have a motion to approve. Alderman Sullivan, second by Alderman Donato. Any questions or comments? If none, the roll.
Belzak,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Kenny, Legansky,
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Stompanato,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, takes us to our monthly report.
Okay, the monthly report for the 4 months ended August 31st reflects general fund year-to-date revenue of $7,243,883, expenses of $5,906,131, current balance $5,713,271, water fund year-to-date revenue of $2,615,145, expenses of $2,122,574, current balance of $4,086,831. Motor fuel tax fund, year-to-date revenue of $341,841, expenses of $323,222 for a current balance of $1,492,730. Water depreciation fund, year-to-date revenue of $7,103, no expenses, current balance of $620,341, and capital improvement fund, year-to-date revenue of $291,755 and expenses of $2,506,852 for a current balance of $16,553,239.
Thank you, Mike. Standing committee reports. Any of the aldermen have anything to report to the council? Alderman Belzak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Municipal Services Committee has their next meeting scheduled for Monday, September the 25th at 6 p.m. in council chambers.
Alderman Sullivan.
The Administrative Finance Committee has a meeting scheduled for Monday, October 2nd at 6 p.m. in the conference room on the first floor at City Hall.
Do we have a police report at all? Okay. Questions and comments, agenda related. Does anybody in the audience have any questions regarding our one agenda item? If not, we move to old business. There being none, we move to the consent agenda. There being none, we move to new business. We have one item, item A, consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance amending the Darien City Code to eliminate physical fitness centers as a business subject to the amusement tax ordinance. Motion to approve. Alderwoman Sullivan, seconded by Alderman Shower. Any discussion? If none, the roll.
Belzak,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Kenny, Leganski,
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Stompanato,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 absent.
The item is approved. He's got a big smile on his face. Takes us to questions, comments, and announcements of a general nature. I'll start off by saying that this coming Saturday, we'll be having our first annual Oktoberfest. It'll be held at the north parking lot of the Carriage Greens Country Club. It's being sponsored by the City of Darien as well as the Darien Lions Club. This is our first attempt at something like this, but there's been a lot of planning by a great committee, and we're really hoping everybody comes out. The weather's supposed to be beautiful, and come out and have a really fun afternoon. It's 2 o'clock till 9 p.m. in the evening, and we're going to have three bands or two bands?
There are 2 bands. There will be a bouncy house for the kids, also face painting, and we'll be serving bratwurst, pretzels, and beverages.
So come on out. Mary?
Just a quick question. Is there an entrance fee to get to
There is no entrance fee.
Yeah, no entrance fee at all.
And most other towns have an entrance
That's
fee.
what I believe, yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
I checked out a few of them. They all have at least $10, some 25. So it's a great deal.
It's one of the benefits of living in Darien and attending
Hey.
Oktoberfest.
And it's family friendly.
I think Naperville was 25.
This is something the city and the Lions Club decided to get together and work on this, and a lot of it is the Lions Club. City's picking up the cost for the bands and the stage and some of the other elements and the cups, half the cost of the cups. But the Lions Club are providing all the manpower and woman power, and should be a lot of fun. Anyone else? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn? Alderman Shower, seconded by Alderman Stompanato. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you, everyone.
Great weekend, guys.
You as well.